What is going on, everybody? This is J.Von Studios here, and today I am very excited because today we're going to be looking at H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. Now, this is a very special book, mainly because this is the first H.G. Wells book that I am currently going through. I am a quarter of the way through. It's a small book. Now, unfortunately, I do have the ebook version. No, I don't really have a problem with it. It's just I prefer a physical copy, either paperback or hardcover. But either way, I'm currently going through it right now, and I'd say I am really enjoying it. Before I go anything further, I have to say, just like I said, I'm currently going through it. It's just a quarter of the way through, and I've noticed some techniques. I've noticed some things he does in his works, H.G. Wells. Specifically, some things in terms of structure and formatting for characters, how he handles dialogue. We'll be going into that as well. This is very much a rough thoughts and first impressions. Now, also I should say, this is my first H.G. Wells novel, but my first one I'm going through, which is exciting because I always hear about his works in high school and how they're just absolutely fantastic. They're written so very well, so intricately, crafted. It's just a true, how should I say, with lack of a better term, it's real literature. It's classic literature. It's absolutely beautiful. And it is. I have very few complaints, but it'll probably just be ironed over since I'm going through the book. It's only 254 pages, which isn't much. I can go through that with one day. But anyway, let's start with the plot and the setting, which, when it comes to plot, I don't really bother with plot. It will just come out as long as it's executed very well. I don't have too much expectations on that. But in terms of setting, I very much feel that this is an unrealized steampunk setting, and let me explain that further. I say it's unrealized because, well, the world is there. However, H.G. Wells doesn't go out of his way for more road building. He doesn't go out of his way to introduce family characters. Well, at least now, in terms of where I'm at, he just sticks primarily to the narrative, to the characters' point of views, and is very linear, which I love. I love linear structures. Now, I feel like it's a steampunk setting because it feels very much like a Victorian, but also sci-fi-ish, which is H.G. Wells' bread and butter. Oh boy, I just love steampunk. I really do. I really love steampunk. It is so amazing. There's so much you can do with steampunk, and it had its fair trending, I think, in the late 2000s, but unfortunately gone off the deep end. But I am a stickler for steampunk setting, Victorian, wild west sci-fi fantasy. It's just, I am absolutely drawn to it like a moth to a flame. So yeah, the setting you may have to fill in it for yourself. But I feel very much it is a steampunk setting, just like no, just like Jules Verne and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There's another book. Oh dear, I'm forgetting the name. The one that when a guy makes a giant gun to shoot people into the moon. I forgot. I forgot the name of the book. Fully. But anyway, Jules Verne. Absolutely love Jules Verne. H.G.Wells. I feel like it is. I feel like he's a bit more surreal than Jules Verne. Jules Verne kind of has like a whimsical feel. H.G.Wells is very much centered within reality, and he has this he has these chapters in which these characters they sit down and they discuss the various possibilities of time travel. What would we like to go back in time? Are we in control of going back in time and then going forward in time? Is it even possible? How would a machine be able to handle that much power? Is it even possible to harness the time itself as a means of transportation? It's all this fascinating stuff. Sure, as a high schooler, I probably would have been bored out of my mind and gone to sleep. So you have these characters here, and man, are they set up really, really, really well. I really like each character dynamics. I really like how they talk. I really like how they speak. They're very educated, and they are very passionate about this subject because they want to progress within technology, but in a reasonable way, which is just absolutely realistic to the bone. It's really realistic. So you have the time traveler, you have this scientist, you have a young boy, and then you have an older gentleman. And this is the early chapters. Again, I have to say the early chapters. This is my impressions, not an overall review, but impressions on the way I feel things are going in the book. And it's all set up really, really well. Now, in terms of structure, I think some interesting things H.G.Wells decided to take with his formatting of the book is it kind of going through it the first read through in one setting. It can be a bit confusing, which is understandable because we're talking about dialogue here. There is a certain chapter and where is the time traveler just telling everything. He's telling his journey, going all the way back to the past. He's doing his best to describe the things that have happened, and it's so much. It's a huge exposition dump, and it just goes on for pages upon pages and pages. And well, when it comes to me with the exploratory dialogue, I like it to be limited unless it's reasonable, unless it's really, really important information. But in this instance, in this particular chapter, it's the time traveler attempting to describe the feeling of going back in time with the machine, what he's seeing, what he's experiencing, and some of the things are so weird, so bizarre, they don't really make sense. But they do, because he doesn't fully, well, he's a time traveler, so he doesn't have anyone else with him. He didn't have notes. He just took himself and went back in time. And then he also went forward in time. And then you understand why when he came into Rome, he was so disgruntled. He was hungry, and he was hungry, and he was frustrated, and he was shocked, and he was in awe, and everyone else like, oh, what's going on? What did he do? What did you do? He went back in time, and then he went to far into the future. And then he saw many things. He saw a tribe of children. Saw everything, almost everything in ruins. And what I don't want to spoil it too much. I'm really saying too much. But I have to say, I am very, very, very impressed with H.G.Wells. I might be finishing the book sometime this week or so. Definitely before Sunday, and I will give my review of it. This is just my impressions, my thoughts, my raw feelings on things. Sorry if I'm boring you with technical speak, but I'm really enjoying H.G.Wells, the Time Traveler. It's free on ebook, which is why I picked it up. Still want a physical copy though. I have to make that happen at some point in time. You know what? Since hardcovers are kind of premium items, right after I finish the ebook, I may have to try to pick up a hardcover copy and just let it sit there, and so I can just admire the artwork, admire the look and the feel of the book. Have the story in my hand. I won't open it, and I'll treat it more like a collector's item or a knick-knack of sort. Right. Well, thank you all so much for coming to check out this video in quarantine. Why don't you go ahead and subscribe, leave a like, favorite, and please rate. This is J-Line Studios, signing out.
Yeah.